Hello everybody, Happy New Year. It's been a little while since I last made a video, so seeing as it's my first time coming to the job centre since before Christmas, I thought I'd make a video. Just let me light up. Yeah, I'm smoking King Edward Imperials. It's a bit shiny, but yeah, this is Beckham design, and they're these sort of relatively small, what I like to call proper cigars. And my cousin got me another lighter this Christmas. This is an engraved Zippo, which got my name on it, but you can't really see because of how shiny it is. Anyway. Nice cigars, these. Made by the same company that makes Swisher Sweets in America. But anyway, not a lot has been going on. Like I said last time, my mandatory reconsideration was refused, or didn't failed, or whatever it was. I put the appropriate term for it. But yeah, with the help of my parents, I've been filling out the appeal request forms, for going to the tribunal and everything. So yeah, that's the. I haven't sent that off yet. I'm probably going to be doing that tomorrow. So I haven't got an update on you on that front, unfortunately, yet. Hopefully, the next time I make a video, something would have happened that I could talk about. But yeah, the only really sort of noteworthy things that have happened is my great aunt gave me a typewriter that she bought for her mother back in 1975. It's an Adler Tipper S. Sorry, this family's just walking past. Anyway, yeah, it's an Adler Tipper S. Adler is a German company, and it's a very rare model with cursive script font, which I did not know until I started typing with it. I was expecting it to just be a regular typewriter. So, good from a collector's standpoint, bad from a letter writing standpoint, really. I've already sent off 3 letters. So I found myself some pen pals online. I've got 2 letters just arrived today from people that I've been reading. There's one in Japan, one in Canada, a few in America. Yeah. Typewriters should be getting a bit of use once I've got a sort of regular influx of letters. Apologies if the wind noise is a bit much. Of course, I have to keep the window open because I'm smoking. So I've got a new case on my phone because the old one I dropped and it broke. So it's one of those ones where you can use it to as a stand. So hopefully the angle's all right on this. Looks all right, but my head's a little bit low, so I'm having to sit up high. Anyway, another thing that I bought with my Christmas money is an old film camera. This is a Hacking Halina 3000, which is a company based in Hong Kong. I'm not sure exactly when it came out, but it was sometime in the early mid-70s. I've been shooting with black and white film, and I just sent off the first roll to be developed yesterday. So hopefully they'll come out okay, because everything is it's got all manual controls on the lens barrel. It's not an SLR, it's just I would say it's a basic point and shoot, but it's got lots of adjustments that can be made. You can change the ASA, which is what ISO used to be known as. There's also, you can change the aperture and the focal length and the shutter speed and so on and so forth. And yeah, it's all a bit confusing, but once you know what everything does, and you know what all of the numbers mean, then you can sort of get it right. It's also got a light sensor on it, which it tells you roughly what the available light is in the area and what light setting you should use, and then so you adjust everything, you adjust all of the controls until the light. It's the thing that says, because you adjust 3 of the settings and it affects the light thing. I'll just call it the light thing because I don't have the manual and I don't know what they call it. But once you've got everything adjusted so that it tells you that okay, these are the right settings for the available light, then you take a photo. But yeah. Took a fair amount of photos with that, so if they're all right, I asked the people at the camera shop if they've turned out all right, then they should go ahead and put them on CD for me as well as printing them. But if they're just crap, just print them and I'll leave that for next time. But yeah. I plan on bringing it with me when we go to Gibraltar next month for a little getaway. My dad was in the army in the late 70s up until the mid 80s. And just literally the day after him and my mum got married, he got shipped off to Gibraltar, which is a British outpost on the southern tip of Spain in the Mediterranean. And yeah, they lived there for a few years until he finished his service, and then he came home and then got the job in the police, and then they settled down and had me. With my mum and dad really love Gibraltar. It's somewhere that they both have gone. Before. We were able to go on holidays, and I wouldn't say. I did go, but I was far too young to ever remember it at the time. And then once it got to the point where me and my brother were old enough to go on family holidays and be able to appreciate them, we used to go to Gibraltar every few years or so. Meet up with my parents, friends there, and just go. Lots of swimming, diving and whatnot. Unfortunately, I can't do scuba diving because I've had something called grommets, which is I used to have what's known as gluea, which is where there's a very, very large wax build up in your ear, and the only way to really stop that is to put a tiny hole in your eardrum and put these plastic spacers in it. Which allows the wax to drain through your inner ear and then of course, your ears are connected to your throat, and then it just goes down the throat and into your digestive system and so on. And then once you grow beyond a certain point, the grommets fall out and your eardrum heals up. See, having compromised eardrums can cause a problem with the pressure under the water. When my dad was in the army, they had one of the diving instructor that they had. He actually had an eardrum blowout when they were on the bottom, and he ended up being deaf in one of his ears. Now that could happen to me. When we last went, they had the form that you signed, the waiver, and they said that you are not to dive if you have this, and this, and one of them was grommets in the past, and also because of the haemophilia, if you get nitrogen narcosis and the bends, which is when nitrogen bubbles form in your bloodstream, that can cause problems. Because I'm a haemophiliac, so yeah, they just wouldn't take me, which is unfortunate because I've always wanted to do scuba diving. Yeah, so it's just regular snorkeling, unfortunately. We've been to a lot of places around there. The last time we went, or the time before, they just reopened the World War II military cave system, which was dug out before and during the war, which provided basically a bunker for military personnel. There was effectively an entire town inside this cave system, post office and restaurant and all sorts of stuff, and also it was an air raid shelter for the people who live on Gibraltar. But yeah, my dad actually was helping clear it out when he was stationed there during the 1980s. It took them that long to do it that it was only finally opened, in the early 2000s, because it was all just filled up with junk and old equipment and rubbish and so on. There's lots of stuff inside the rock. There's St. Michael's Cave, just lovely rock formations, and also has a concert hall inside it. And then there was another cave system, I can't remember what it was called, but that was found during the war when they were blasting to make another entrance into the cave system. It opened up a further expansive cave that, as far as anyone had been able to work out, had been sealed for at least 20,000 years. Hardly anyone has been inside it since then, so it's still pretty much pristine. Yeah, Gibraltar is a very nice place. It's one of the few British outposts left, and they're very much British at heart. They hate the Spanish. The Spanish want Gibraltar back, even though when they ceded it to us via treaty after sometime in the late 1700s, it was ceded to us in perpetuity, which means that now and forever. You can't go back on treaty. Yeah. Gibraltar's a lovely place. We're also parents are also thinking of having a holiday to Lisbon in Portugal in May, which would be good for me because I have a friend in Lisbon and I could go and spend some time with her while my parents did other stuff. But yeah, anything else that's been going on or will be going on? Christmas, Christmas lost its lustre a long time ago. And I didn't get all that many presents. Obviously, I got this, which I used to light my cigar. And my cousin got me an ashtray as well, but the problem is I'm not allowed to smoke in the house, so I will barely use it, if at all. There wasn't much else in terms of presents that I got. Pretty much all of it was money, which is good. Which means I can buy what I want to buy. New Year's. Britain isn't big on New Year, or at least my family isn't, and I don't recall. I mean, they have fireworks displays and stuff, and all of that. But it's nowhere near as big as it is in America and Japan and so on. So it's some people go out and get hammered and have parties and stuff, but the most part people just don't care, really, not anymore. We didn't do anything. We had a bit of a nice lunch on New Year's Day, but that was it. All New Year's, even New Year's Day, does serve as a reminder to me about how little, if at all, my life has changed in the previous year. It's fine. I thought the ash had gone in my car again, but no, it's just dropped off outside. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. I've got a few views on that video I did on New Year's Eve with the rest of the search and rescue stories. I don't know how many of them actually watched all 1 hour and 43 minutes, however long it was. I really should have split it up into a few videos, but nah. At least some people are going to watch it. I mean, it's not like I care about ad revenue anyway, because as I said before, I've had an AdSense account now since 2009, I think, and since then I have not had. Well, right now, as it stands, my AdSense account has about £6 something in it, and the minimum amount to be paid into your bank account is £60. So I don't think I'm ever going to see a penny of that ad revenue. It's just going to sit there in the AdSense account, and I'm never going to get it. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not particularly bothered about that, because I'm not doing it for the money. It would be nice if I got some money from it, but I don't think I'll ever have the kind of audience numbers required for that. No skin off my nose. I mean, this isn't me trying to get famous or rich or anything. This is just me talking about stuff that's going on in my life. I mean, in a way, it's sort of therapeutic. So, that's the benefit I get from that. Ooh, it's chilly today. Have you noticed that in the Northern Hemisphere we really haven't had a winter? It's ridiculous. I mean, some places in America, they've been having 80-degree Fahrenheit temperatures. I mean, that's like spring weather. in some places. You know, and over here, you know, we haven't seen any snow. I can't even remember if we had any snow last winter. But I mean, really, this is like autumn weather at worst. Yeah, it's a bit disappointing that we haven't had snow. 'Cause, I mean, I like getting snow. I like driving in snow. It's a challenge, but yeah, I've seen pretty much nothing. I think my cousin up at Swindon, the one who got me the lightest, said that they had a bit of a light dusting late last year, but it wasn't enough for it to settle on the ground. And you know, we haven't seen any snow at all yet. Damn global warming. I bought myself a laptop for Christmas. A Dell Inspiron 9400. It's this big 17-inch thing. I've been wanting one for a long time. I did get one at one point. Our customers, when I worked at the job that I had for 18 months or whatever it was, he said that my boss brought it in and said that it was being disposed of because the hinge was broken. As you know, I asked him if I could have it because, you know, I could probably fix it, and it was a nice laptop. And then when I opened it up, I found that the hinge wasn't broken, just that somehow the hinge screws had come out and were rattling around inside the case, which meant that was why the hinge was swinging around. So I just screwed that back in, and I said, I said, hey, you know, I fixed it. It was just the screws had come out. My boss decided that he wanted to keep it and use it as a loaner PC for when we, you know, take a customer's computer and we're going to have it for a while. We give them one as a loaner to use. So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, there's no skin off my nose because the laptop that I've got now it had higher specification than the one then, and it also came with the 1920 by 1200 HD LCD screen on it, so that meant that I didn't need to upgrade that. It already had dedicated graphics, but they weren't the ones that I wanted, so, you know, they ended up getting replaced. But at least, you know, having one that already had dedicated graphics, I knew that it was, you know, fine and compatible. Because I mean, I know that the ones that didn't have dedicated graphics, there was this sort of card in place of the graphics card that had an interface for the LCD panel to plug into. So I'm not exactly sure if I could have just pulled that out and put a graphics card on there, but so yeah, I mean, in that I've upgraded the RAM, I've upgraded the CPU, I've upgraded the graphics card, I've put a big hard drive in it, and yeah, it's just running nicely now. Should get a lot of use out of that. You know, unfortunately, it's not as good at gaming as I was expecting, because it has, you know, a 7950 GTX with 512 megabytes as the graphics card. You know, which in its day, you know, we were talking about that would be £2,500 laptop, £2,500 laptop territory. That would be. But it's right before Nvidia made their graphics card with what's known as unified shaders. So unified shaders is what everything uses now, and that sort of became the standard in terms of, you know, graphics technology, and games were developed specifically with the unified shaders in mind. So you know, newer games don't run as well as they would do as if the card was from the next generation, let's say. I mean, you know, it's still fine. I mean, and you know, I'm not planning on playing a lot of games on it or anything. It's just some games that should run good on it don't, which is surprising. But anyway, you know, there's plenty of other stuff that I can do with it. Yeah. Yeah, I'm probably going to end it here because, you know, I've pretty much run out of things to say. So yeah, be seeing you.